Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here, and today I will be showing you another design by Susan HB. She is on Instagram as Crazy Just Might Work. This design here today is called the Cloud City Bracelet. It is reversible. This here on the right is the back side of it, and these two are the front. I did do 3 colors on this middle one just to show you the difference in case you want to do so. To make this bracelet, it does take about 90 bands or so depending on your wrist size, and it can be made on the rainbow loom or the monster tail, which is a big super plus. Today the tutorial will be done on the monster tail. However, I did add a clip in at the end to show you how to set up the rainbow loom in case you want to do it that way as well. So please look for the little bubble over here if you need to fast forward for the rainbow loom setup. And without further ado, let's get started. To make this bracelet, you will need your monster tail loom, 1 C-clip, and your hook. And as always, I will be using my metal tip hook from rainbowloom.com. For the bands, I will be using the gold glitter limited edition from rainbowloom.com and white. So to get started, we are going to be using these 4 pins here and then these 2 pins out here. To start, we are just going to take 1 single band, laying it from this pin here forward without any twisting. Just lay it straight. Doing the same on this right side, like so. Push them down a little bit, and now we are actually going to lay a band going horizontal from left to right. I'm going to switch my color now. And the color that you go horizontal with, which is what I'm going to be using as white, is the color that is white in this bracelet. So basically it's like the clouds, I guess you can say. So yeah, back to the bracelet. Now that you have those 3 bands laid, we are going to be taking this bottom band here and crossing it up to this right top corner, and then we're going to do the same to this one, bringing it up here. So it is a little bit of a stretch, so carefully grabbing that left band and stretching it up and over to this top right one. And as you can see, it like crosses over that white band. Now we're going to do the same to this bottom right side, taking it off the pin and stretching it up and onto that top left one. So that's what you should have so far. Now we're going to turn our monster tail around, and I may refer to this as the loom. It's just easier to say. So go ahead and turn that around with your arrow or dot facing or being on the right side. And now we're going to bring these 2 white bands on top of the bands you just laid here on the middle. So just carefully grab that band and bring it on top, just laying it right on top. You don't need to twist it on. You can just lift it up and just sit it right back on top. We're going to do the same over here on the left side. I like to grab it by this top band here, slide it off of the pin. I kind of bring it forward a little bit and then just lay it right back on top like that. It just makes it a little cleaner instead of taking it off and like twisting it on top. It gives it a little bit of a twist. It just looks cleaner if you lift it up and lay it straight on. If you do twist it, no worries. It's still going to look good. It just may have a little twist inside, but it's really no big deal. So now that we've done that, go ahead and turn your little monster tail back around. With the dot on the left side, push your bands down, and we're going to go ahead and add on our next layer. So we're going to do that same pattern, laying 2 forward, so 1 here and 1 on the right side, just like that. And now we're going to lay our horizontal band, stretching that all the way across. And now we're going to do the same thing, stretching them diagonal, crossing over each other. So starting with the left side, I'm going to stretch all the way up to that top right corner. And I'm going to do the same, stretching up to the left side. Go ahead and push your bands down a little bit. And now turn your monster tail around. And now we are going to do one of the hooking steps. So what we're going to do is take these very two bottom bands and bring them up and over. So just grab those very two bottom bands and carefully bring them up, over, and release. Doing the same on the right side. Grabbing the two bottom bands, bringing it up and releasing. You can push those down. And now we need to bring our white band into the middle. So carefully take that off of the pin, bringing it forward, and just sitting it right back on top of there. Doing the same on the left side, picking up that band, and just laying it back on top on that side. Like so. So that's what it should look like. Now right now we have 4 bands on each of these pins. So we are actually going to bring the very bottom band, which is white, up and over. So bring it up and over on the right side. And now doing the same on the left side. Go ahead and push those down. And now we're going to turn our loom back around. And we're going to go ahead and lay our next layer. So we're going to go ahead and lay our vertical bands again, going forward. One on the left side and one on the right side. And now we're going to go ahead and lay our horizontal band. Just straight across like that. I always like to push my horizontal band down just a little bit because now we're going to be crossing these over again. So taking the left side off of your pin, stretching it over up to that right one. And now we're going to do the same to this one, stretching it up to the left and placing it on the pin. Turn your loom back around. And now we're going to do another hooking step. Now, the first couple steps we did was just to start the bracelet. This is where you're going to see like the start of the pattern. So the first time we looped just the bottom 2 bands up and over, and then we laid our white bands out here back on top, and then we brought the very bottom white band over. That will be part of the steps. However, this part that we're getting ready to do right now is the second step that we're going to be doing, and we're going to actually be alternating. So right now what we're going to do is, instead of only grabbing the bottom 2, we're going to grab all 3. So we need these 2 bottom ones and this white one to come up and over. So grabbing all 3 of those bands, carefully stretching it up and over, and release. Doing the same on the left side. If you have a hard time picking up all 3 of those bands at once, then you always want that white one inside. So just go ahead and grab that white one first, and bring that over, and then you can proceed to bringing the other 2 up and over. It's definitely easier if you can bring them all over at once, but if not, you can certainly do it that way. So let's go ahead and continue. We're going to now bring our whites into the middle here. So just bringing that off of the pin and placing it back on just like that. Doing the same to the left side, taking it off and bringing it down onto that pin in front, just like that. So now you can just push those down, turn your loom back around, and now we're going to add on our next layer. We're going to go ahead and lay our vertical bands again, going forward. And now we can lay our horizontal band. And for the laying of the bands, it will always be like this for the entire bracelet. Now we're going to stretch them up and crossing over, starting on my bottom left, going up to the right. Doing the same with the bottom right, going up to the left. And I definitely recommend you do the same side every time, because you will see like the cross in the front of the bracelet. So just try to stay consistent with that. So go ahead and turn your monster tail around. And I lost focus. There we go. And now we can go ahead and do the hooking step again. Now, because last time we looped all 3, this time we're only going to loop the bottom 2. And now, if you stop or forget where you left off or which one you did last, the way that you can tell, and you really have to like get in here to look. If you look right here, there's 3 bands right there. There's the 2 gold and the white. So that shows me that the last bands I pulled over were 3 of them. So that tells me that this time I'm only going to do 2. So just always look there if you forget how many you should be bringing over. And if there's 3 there, you know you should only be bringing 2 up and over. And if there's only that 1 white one, you know you need to be bringing 3. So I will go over that again. For now, we're just going to grab the bottom 2, bringing them up and over. Doing the same on the left side, grabbing the bottom 2, bringing those up and over. I always recommend making sure your bands are pushed down before you bring them up and over so that they don't pop off the pins. So now we actually need to go ahead and bring our outside bands, our white bands, into the middle here. So just go ahead and grab those and just bring them back into the middle, like so. And now that we've done that, as you can see, every time we bring only 2 bands over, after we bring the white in, we have to bring this bottom band, which is white, up and over. So grab that band and bring it up and over, like that. You can turn your loom back around, pushing them down, and we can go ahead and add on our next layer again. So we're just going to continue repeating that process. So laying those 2 bands vertically, and now we're going to lay our horizontal band. If I can get a hold of it. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and stretch them diagonal or crossing over. So going from the left and now the right side. Now you can turn your loom around. And remember, last time we only did 2 bands, so this time we need to do 3. And this I want to show you just one more time. If you look in here, there is a total of 3 bands. However, the 2 are down there, and then the white one is up here. So if you see that white one, just like, oh, I'm losing focus. There we go. If you see here, that white one right here is like by itself and up a little higher. That's when you know you need to bring 3 over. But if they're all 3 right aligned next to each other, you only need to bring 2 over. So hopefully that's not too confusing. Basically, you're just going to keep alternating back and forth. So you'll do 3, the next time you'll do 2, and just keep going back and forth. But I just like to show you that in case you do forget, you know, where you left off. So now that we've done that, we need to bring our whites in again. So carefully remove that from the pin and bring it into the middle, doing the same on the left side. And I just quickly want to mention that since we did bring all 3 over there, we don't have anything to bring over on the bottom there. So turn your loom around and let's go ahead and do that again. Laying our 2 vertical bands and then our horizontal. Now we're going to cross over. Turning the loom back around. Now we're going to bring up the bottom 2 bands. Doing that on the left. Pushing those down. Now we need to bring in our whites. And now we need to bring that bottom band up and over. Go ahead and push those down. Turn your loom back around. And now we're going to do that again. Crossing over. Turning your loom around. Pushing them down a little bit. And now we're going to bring those bands up and over, and this time we're going to do 3 because the last time, or no, wait. Yes, this time we're going to do 3 because the last time we only did 2. Mine got a little stuck here. There we go. And now it's getting long enough to where you can like pull on the bottom. So you can definitely keep doing that. And now we need to bring in our whites into the middle. Now you can turn your monster tail back around. And we are going to do that again. So I am going to continue doing this a few times just because I know it can be a little bit tricky. And I want to make sure that everyone fully understands how to do this bracelet. So I'm just going to silently go ahead and continue. And I may be doing it a little bit faster than I was doing it. If you already know how to do it, please feel free to go ahead and fast forward. And I'll show you how to close it up. And I'm going to just do this one more time. Okay, so go ahead and give your bracelet a nice tug. Like I said in the beginning, I am using limited edition bands, so it may look a little tiny different from what you are doing or whatever you're using. But here is the front side. So I really like how it's looking with my limited edition bands. But I'm going to go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet. If you have not caught on to the looping, please feel free to rewind and watch the previous instructions, and I'll be right back once I finish up the length of my bracelet. Okay guys, so I did go ahead and finish up the length of my bracelet, so now I'm going to just go ahead and show you how to close it up. It's very simple. You just want to make sure that your loom looks like mine. Basically, the very last step that I did was looping the 3 up and over. So make sure that's the last band you looped up and over were 3, not the 2. So again, loop the 3 up and over, and then you bring your whites in like I have right here, which means you should only have 3 bands on each of these 2 pins. So if your monster tail looks like that, now we can go ahead and get it closed up. All you are going to do is grab one of your bands, which is like the outside color that you chose. We're just going to stretch it from this pin. You want it to go behind the middle pin and attach back onto this front pin. So just put it on the left side, stretching around the back of that middle and placing it on top of that right one like that. So don't let it come in the front of that middle one. And now all we need to do is bring all these 3 bands up and over. So to grab those 3, carefully bringing it up and over. Make sure you don't lose that band. I almost did. And now we're going to do the same on the right side. Just place your finger like on the back here, holding onto your bracelet. Grabbing all 3 of those bands, carefully bringing those up and over. You can pull on your bracelet a little bit just so it kind of comes together. And now we're just going to take this left band here off of this pin and stretch it over and just place it on top of that pin here. So now you have the 2 bands there, which is where we're going to place our C-clip. So just pop that C-clip onto those 2 bands. You can remove it from the pin, slide it out, give it a little bit of a tug. On the other end here, there are 2 bands. There's actually 4, but there's 2 that stick out a lot more. So just grab those 2 and hook your C-clip onto those. Like that. And there you have the completed Cloud City bracelet. I did just want to zoom out so you guys can see it a little better. So once again, there you have the completed Cloud City bracelet. Again, it is reversible. It's fun and cute. And you can make it on the monster tail and rainbow loom, which is what I really like. Before you go, I did actually want to show you guys how to make this on the rainbow loom. Just a couple steps so that if you don't have a monster tail, you can do it. Okay, so there are 2 different setups that you can do to make it on the rainbow loom. One of them is like this, which actually it takes 2 looms to do this. As you can see here, there is a space in the middle, which is not necessary. However, if we didn't put the space here, you'd have to keep working around the middle pin, which can be a little irritating. So you can certainly set it up like this. You just have to get 2 looms. You want to have your back 2 facing the opposite direction. I just have 1 bar pin going down the middle and then these 2 here. So they are in an offset position. I'm just only going to show you a few steps. I'm not going to do the whole bracelet. So to do it on the rainbow loom like in this variation with the looms, you're just going to stretch it straight across like that. Doing the same on the right side like that. And we're basically just going to be making like an H. Now we're going to lay our horizontal. And if you did watch the tutorial on my monster tail, you are definitely going to see the resemblance. All the steps are exactly the same. You just grab this band here, stretch it forward to the right, grabbing the band from this bottom pin, stretching that to the left. And now we're going to be bringing these 2 bands forward. You can do it with your loom facing or staying here and just kind of working from the back, or you can turn your loom around and face it towards you like this. And now we're just going to pick up the white bands and place them on the front pins like so. You're going to push those down, turn your loom back around. And now we are actually going to lay our next layer. So going with our vertical bands. And now we're going to lay our horizontal band. As you can see, it makes a letter H. And now we're going to stretch these up and across. You can turn that loom around. And now we can do the hooking step, which is grabbing these 2 bottom bands, bringing it up and over, doing the same on the right side. I got stuck in here. There we go. Push those down, and now we're going to bring our white bands into the middle here in the front. Just like that. Now we are going to bring the bottom white band up and over. So if you are using a rainbow loom, I just wanted to show you how to have this set up for this variation. If you have 2, this is definitely the way to go. But you do want to watch my tutorial or the previous instructions, because that's where the tutorial is on the monster tail. But if you just follow those directions with this setup, you will be able to make it as well. I did want to show those of you who only have 1 loom and no monster tail. It is a little bit harder to get to the bands, but you can, or to loop the bands I should say, but you can certainly do it like this as well. With your 1 loom, you only need 2 bar pins, and you want them aligned with one another like this. And this way you actually have to work around these middle pins here. So what we would do is place a band on the bottom, and you have to stretch it around this middle pin and attach it to that top pin there. So you're going to place it on the bottom, stretch it around that middle, and hook it onto that top one. So make sure it's not on the outside of that middle. We're going to do the same on the right side, making sure to go on the inside and not the outside of that middle pin. So I'm going to go in and then attach it up like that. Now we do the same thing like we did in the other 2 tutorial, or the other tutorial and the other example that I showed you. We're just going to lay that white band across like that. And now we are going to do the same steps, grabbing the bottom band, or the bottom left band, bringing it up, doing the same here, bringing that up to the left. And now it doesn't really make sense to turn your loom around like we did in the other examples. So now you would just grab your band, bring it forward, grab this band, and bring it forward. Like that. And now we would lay on our next layer. Remember to go around that middle pin. Doing the same on the right side, going around that middle pin so that they're both on the inside. And then you can lay that horizontal band like that. And we're going to do that same step again. And now we're going to start the hooking step, which is to grab the 2 bottom bands over here and bring them up and over. Going on this side, grabbing the 2 bottom bands, bringing those up and over. Push those down, and now we're going to bring these white bands forward. And now you see there's 1 white band on the bottom. You want to just bring that up and over. So you can also follow my monster tail tutorial to make this bracelet using this variation if you only have 1 loom. The only difference is you will not be turning your loom around, and you do have to go in the middle, avoiding that middle pin. But the rest of the instructions as far as crossing it up, and then the looping, how many bands you're bringing over, and then bringing the whites forward. So you can definitely follow the monster tail instruction to do that. So hopefully that can help everybody be able to make this bracelet. So once again, I do just want to say that this design was created by Susan HB, and she is crazy, just might work on Instagram. She did an awesome job on this Cloud City bracelet. Don't forget to give her a follow. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. So I hope you guys like this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video. Bye!